Hi, Yogi Edgies! Thank you for watching the replay. I was hoping if I started on the reverse camera in my mirror it would not go blurry, but it's always blurry. So that did not work. I'm walking around my house like a monkey trying to climb on stuff and get it to work. So let's do this instead. Okay. It's just really crappy camera at the front, so I apologize, but hello! I am already sweaty because I was warming up just a second ago, which you probably saw, and I hope that you are warmed up and ready to go for day 6 of Monkey Splits Gone Bananas Challenge. I am super sorry, it's a little bit fuzzy. I just don't know what to do. I am going to bring up, hey Amy, welcome. I'm going to bring up the Scoper chat so as I explain all of this, I can see if you have any questions. And if you have any friends either on Periscope or on Twitter that you think would benefit from this post, then go ahead and hug them and invite them in. And now I can see you on Scoper chat. So I'll probably be talking like a little bit more this direction, but I know that you're here and I'm watching the hearts on the Scoper chat and everything. We are doing Forward Fold, and of course, just like last week, I have a funky little challenge for you. So the challenge for this week is a little bit to do with breath, but because it's themed monkeys, then I thought we could mix it up and make it really silly. And your challenge is to make funny monkey noises anytime that you find your brain kind of getting either frustrated or stuck, or if you feel like, I wish I could go a little bit farther, just start going ooh, ooh, ah, ah, whatever noise you think a monkey would make. And let it allow yourself to kind of like have fun where you are, because I know so many times in a lot of these poses this week, I myself, I get in them and I'm like, oh, like I think I can go farther, and I just like, I get this like built up like energy and like stress in my head, and I'm like, just push a little bit farther. And then what's happening whenever we do that? It's just like, everything is tensing up. It's not actually going to let loose. Hey, Kelly. Welcome. Kelly, I have not seen your pictures yet, but I know that you're doing these at home, at least, if you're not even posting the pictures. So, we're doing Forward Fold. Now, there's a lot of things about Forward Fold that I would like to go over, so we'll try to make this pretty short. Good, good. I'm glad that you are trying. Oh, and before I forget, because I want to put this at the beginning, you need more motivation. If you need more motivation, then I do have the course available in the link on my bio down at the bottom. If you hit the Perry Guy, you can get the full course. And since you are my Edgies, if you use the code Yogi Edgies, you do get $5 off the course, which is like really cheap. So if you need more motivation, then that would be my way of being able to offer it to you, and I do hope that helps you, Kelly, because I want you to get super comfortable with your legs. Okay, what I wanted to not forget is today is the end of week 1. You have been trying so hard and you want to do yoga so bad more daily. Well, you know what? Even if you just do one pose a day, like I did it in my bed yesterday. Did you see that? That's usually like at least something. So I don't really practice that much every day, you guys. I maybe practice yoga like 15 minutes a day, because I have to teach dance, and then I do go to class now, like Monday and Friday usually, but I don't get a chance to do that much. I'm really overwhelmed actually with everything. So I hope that you understand, like, it's just a matter of what you can do, and just don't feel bad about anything you can't do. Alright, since this is the beginning of week 2, I want you to post your split progress from what you have experienced through week 1. So, I am a little bit warm, so I will show you what I've got right now for my splits, to be honest, I don't even know if they'll go down because I've been pretty stressed out and I haven't been able to do other stuff. But this would be all from just the course. So if you're doing the challenge, I want you to get on Instagram and I want you to sit in your splits for 30 seconds. So I'm here, my butt is down, my hip is not. So this is where my pole fitness background, I was taught to turn out. So this is where I am working on. I'm working on turning that hip in. So I want to see them. You can take a screenshot. That looks painful. No, it's not painful. I do feel a stretch. It's not where it used to be. And then the other side as well. Now this is not my flexible side. So make sure to hashtag monkey splits gone bananas and with your progress, because you won't know if it's helping unless you kind of have something to compare it to, you know? You'll feel it, but a lot of times these little tiny inches, this one is not on the floor right now. A lot of times these little tiny inches, you won't be able to see just looking down. You're going to be able to see from a picture angle. Okay, so forward fold. Forward fold, you are starting in your mountain pose. I think I'll face this way. And you want to make sure that your feet are hip width apart so that it gives you kind of space for your hips to move. And I have my shirt pulled up so that you can see my back, because otherwise this long flowy shirt would be really hiding what's going on. Your toes need to be pointed forward. Now, start with your hands on your hips. When you fold forward, notice if your legs are like super like banana-ing back, because that's what mine do. I hyperextend my knees naturally, so I have to think, instead of making like a banana with my legs, I gotta keep them in line, hips over knees over ankles, so that they don't wobble back. It's going to make it not do as much if your legs are banana-ing back versus like your hips are just tilting. So if you have no idea if you're doing it or not, just try giving a slight bend in your knees and then doing the forward fold and seeing if it's like a major different feeling. If it is, chances are you may be hyperextending your knees a little bit. Okay, as you are slightly bending your knees or just keeping them actually straight and not pushing back, you're going to fold at your hips. So imagine you had like a thong on, and where the thong line would go is where you should, like pointing the tailbone to the floor. Yes, however, like I can point my tailbone to the floor and just squeeze my ass really tight and still hyperextend my knees. So it may not help you bend. Literally, like if you notice, if I straighten my leg, you see how it kind of goes down like a boat? I have to actually put a tiny bend in my leg because over time I have bowed them out. So now the bones and stuff are not aligned in a straight line. Instead, they're making this little curve, kind of like a micro bend. Exactly. Yeah, very small. Not like bend like this, like just to where you can tell there's not an excessive amount of stretching back in the back of the knee, which is exactly what I've been doing my entire life. And this is literally something I just started incorporating into my practice. So, like I said, where you're at is where you're at. I am having to totally change my practice, but it is helping my hips tremendously, and that's why I put it in here. Okay, so that's that little bend, because you should be able to engage your quad and make it tight. If it's super arched back, I can't really engage my quad as much as if it was in a straight line, and then I could engage the whole part of my leg. So I hope that does explain that. Thank you for that question. That was a good question. Okay, so micro bend in the knees. You are at first having the tailbone pointing down, except for we're about to flip that upside down. Imagine the thong, you've got your little thong on. You don't have like your 80s like unitard bending here. You have your thong on, you're folding where the string would go, okay? That's where I want you to think of whenever you're folding. Much of the time we try to fold up here, like we had those high-waisted like remember Baywatch, how they had those super high, like, cut things? Don't fold there. Fold lower. Okay. As you're folding at the hip line, you are going to start tilting the tailbone up. Keep your back flat. One way of keeping your back flat is keeping your hands on your hips so that you don't like dive down like you're diving into the pool. So keep your hands on your hips and keep your shoulders flat on your back as you're bending, bending, bending. You should already feel it pulling up the back of your thigh all the way up to where your sit bones are. As you get to a point where you have to stop because you feel it stretching, check out your feet. See if they're still in line. See if they're still pointed forward. Check the backs of your knees. See if you accidentally started to hyperextend them. Make sure they're actually straight or slightly bent if you need some help. If you are really tight, you can continue kind of bending your knees to drop it lower. Don't bend your back right now. Alright, so I'm at a flat back state. I'm about as low as I can go with my flat back. My tailbone is starting to point up, but it's not quite all the way flipped up. You can allow your hands down to the floor if you can keep a flat back, or if you can't, get some blocks and put your hands on blocks to keep you up there. As you are here, I want you to breathe in, and this is where our funky little monkey sound challenge comes in, which when I make these things up, I'm like, oh, this is going to be really good practice, and I don't think about how I'm going to have to do them on live broadcasting on Periscope and make ridiculous sounds. But I'm doing it for all of you that I know appreciate these little tips to help you get into place. So, as you breathe in, you should be thinking of opening your chest and think about a like line trying to extend from your hips all the way up through your chest. You're trying to lengthen your body. And in the post on Instagram, I think I wrote about imagine your body as a piece of bread, like trying to sandwich over. Right now, your hip to your shoulder is not as long as your hip to your foot. So we gotta lengthen it out so that when we fold over, our bun like matches and we're not going to have half an uncovered little sandwich. So as we are breathing in, try to lengthen by pulling the top of our head forward. Try to elongate your body, and then whenever you have to breathe out, that's when you can start making your funny like, whew, and then up, whew, and then up, and then up, and then just a couple more. This is ridiculous. Whew. Whew. See if it's letting you down a little. Yeah. So I feel how it allowed my hips up. And when you come up, put your hands back on your hips and keep your body straight to make your body remember this long line that you just created. Okay? So if any of you have been practicing forward fold for a while, give me a 1 if this had any new information whatsoever that you learned today. If it was not new, but it was useful tips and you think that it was worth sharing with any of your friends, give me a number 2. And if you're like, this was kind of weird, I really didn't have any interest in this, then give me a 3. So type it in the comments, and a 2. Cool. So good. So we knew the information and it was helpful to hear again. So that's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. And if you have friends that may have the same thing, maybe they're experienced in yoga, but they just kind of start getting obsessed with folding over like a sandwich. Like this is what my forward fold used to look like and is in the picture for this challenge. So I apologize. It's just me folding over into my legs. But you know what? That was like my upper back that was bending, not my like hips. So I think it's really good to remind ourselves, and you know, as we're practicing with other people, try to keep that in mind as well, and give them these little little helpful analogies so that they can learn and grow with you. Okay, any last questions before I go about the challenge or about this pose? You did that for almost 10 years? Dude, I've been doing it for like, gosh, I mean, over 25 years. I've been doing that. And this is the hilarious thing, is that in gymnastics, what do I teach? You're very welcome, Amy. I'm really glad you were here, and I'm so excited that you are doing the challenge. I'm loving your post. When I was teaching gymnastics forever, and when I was doing gymnastics, I knew that I would always say, just reach for your feet and don't bend at your back. And why was I not applying that to standing up? It's crazy. Even in pole, I literally tell the girls that I teach, I say, think about putting your tits on your knees, not your head. And so many of them look at me like I'm nuts when I say that, but I'm like, seriously, if you think about putting your boobs on your knees, it's a lot harder, but it actually makes you feel that stretch down the back of your legs, versus a lot of people can just like put their head on their knees like no problem. That's just part of what your spine does. Unless you are like really out of shape and really not moving around, usually you're going to be able to at least bend that. Now your legs, on the other hand, the more active you are, it tends to actually get tighter. So that's why we're doing it. Okay, so it's been really fun. I really enjoyed this. This Scoper chat has really helped me out. Lucian, you are like the bomb with the hearts. I love it, and I hope that maybe you will join our Instagram challenge. I did see your profile on Instagram, so that's super awesome that you are following. And if you have not already, go to @MyNerdyAcupunk on Periscope, or you can go to my Instagram @box_edge, and he gave us a really cool recipe for a steamed banana coconut cake, which is like a Thai dessert, and that's your little treat for today, since in the course today is a rest day. So give that a shot and let me know how it goes by taking a picture of your little creation, and if you had to exchange anything, like, tell us. So I have so many things for you to post today. There should be no reason that I don't see at least one thing from each of you. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have somebody from Germany joining us for a nice little tips on your splits. So I will see you tomorrow. Namaste. Love you. Bye. Yep, I will see you there. Bye.